The morning sun gently filtered through the silk curtains of the room where Jenna Martin was preparing for what was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. Her fingers trembled slightly as she tried on the lace veil over her brown hair, carefully arranged in an elegant bun. In the mirror, she saw a 26-year-old young woman, almond-shaped eyes that matched her light golden skin tone, a reflection of her maternal heritage. Jenna had always been described as reserved and studious, having grown up in a wealthy family where business came before emotions. Her father, Richard Martin, owned a chain of luxury hotels, and her mother, Elizabeth, was a socialite known for organising the most prestigious high society events. Raised amidst wealth and protocols, Jenna developed an introspective personality, finding refuge in books and the silent desire for true love. It was during a charity dinner organised by her mother that she met Alexander Reynolds, heir to a rising technology company. Tall with an athletic build, dark hair and a magnetic smile, Alex seemed to have stepped directly from the novels Jenna used to read. Over a year and a half of dating, she believed she had finally found her fairy tale. The Martin mansion was bustling with activity. Florists, decorators and organisers circulated through the wide corridors, finalising the details of the ceremony that would take place in the property's garden. The scent of fresh flowers, white roses and peonies, Jenna's favourites, filled the air. "Just one more hour and I'll be Mrs. Reynolds," Jenna whispered to herself, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. She decided to go downstairs to have some tea and calm her nerves while the makeup artists and hairdressers finished setting up in the adjacent room. Walking down the corridor, Jenna stopped abruptly upon hearing voices coming from her father's office. The door was slightly ajar, and she immediately recognised her parents' voices. "Do you really think this wedding will save the situation, Richard?" Her mother's voice sounded tense. "Elizabeth, you know we are on the verge of bankruptcy. The merger with the Reynolds company is our only way out. Alex is aware of the situation and has agreed to the terms. But deceiving our daughter this way, Alex clearly does not love her. I saw how he looks at that assistant of his when he thinks no one is watching." Jenna felt her heart freeze. Her mother's words echoed in her mind like a nightmare. "It was the deal we made," her father continued. "He marries Jenna, our companies merge, we save our assets, and he inherits part of the hotels when I retire. Business is business, Elizabeth." With shaky legs, Jenna silently retreated. She felt as if she had been punched in the stomach. All the air had been expelled from her lungs. She needed to confront Alex, needed to hear from him that this was a terrible misunderstanding. She found him in the garden gazebo, dressed in his impeccable suit, talking to the best man. When Alex saw her, his smile faltered as he noticed the wedding dress. "Jenna, you shouldn't be here. It's bad luck for the groom to see the bride before the wedding." He tried to joke, but noticed the devastated expression on her face. "What happened?" "Is it true?" she asked, her voice almost inaudible. "Are you marrying me because of a business deal with my father?" The silence that followed was the first confirmation. Alex dismissed the best man with a gesture and turned to her, his face now stripped of the charming mask he had worn for 18 months. "Who told you?" he asked, his voice as cold as Jenna had never heard before. "I overheard my parents talking." "So it's true? Was it all a lie? The flowers, the gifts, the plans for the future?" Alex adjusted his tie in a calculated gesture. "Don't be naive, Jenna. Marriages in our social class are rarely for love. They are alliances, business opportunities. But you said you loved me. Jenna felt the tears burning her eyes, but she refused to shed them. All those times. Words, just words, he replied with a nonchalant shrug. Frankly, I thought you were smarter. You were always so intelligent about everything except noticing the obvious. I never loved you. It was convenient for both of us, or rather, for our families' businesses. Each word was like a dagger piercing her heart. The casual cruelty with which he dismissed everything she believed they had built together left her momentarily paralyzed. And that woman, your assistant. A scornful smile crossed Alex's face. Melissa? At least she knows how the real world works. She doesn't have her head in the clouds like you. At that moment, something inside Jenna broke, and something else strengthened. She raised her chin, fighting back the tears that threatened to fall. The wedding is off, she said, with a calmness she didn't know she possessed. Get out of my house, Alex. Don't be foolish. Your family needs this marriage more than mine does. You're going to ruin your parents. That's their problem now. They built a fortune based on lies. Let them lose it the same way. Jenna turned her back and walked towards the house, ignoring Alex's calls. In her room, she changed out of her wedding dress into jeans and a simple blouse and packed her documents, credit cards, and some clothes into a backpack. She wrote a brief note to her parents. She couldn't face them now, and left through the back of the property. The small apartment in the center of Cedar Grove, a quiet town on the other side of the country, had nothing in common with the mansion where Jenna had grown up. A used sofa, a single bed, a tiny kitchen, and a bathroom that barely fit a person. For Jenna, however, it represented freedom. The first days were the hardest. Used to having servants for everything, she found herself having to learn the basics of domestic life. Her first challenge was the laundry. She spent an hour watching how other people used the machines before trying herself. Her first prepared dinner, instant noodles, was a burnt disaster. The loneliness was sometimes overwhelming. But there was also a strange sense of achievement in every small victory. The first omelette without burning it. The first bill paid with money she had earned herself. The first whole month without crying over what she had left behind. She got a job at Sullivan's Market, a family establishment that had served the small community for 3 generations. Mr. Sullivan, a gentleman with grey hair and a kind smile, hired her despite her lack of experience. "We all need to start somewhere," he said, patiently teaching her how to operate the old cash register and organize the shelves. Gradually, Jenna began to build a new routine. She would wake up early, walk to work, greet the same daily customers, and return home at night, tired but with a growing sense of self-sufficiency. Although she received occasional calls from her mother, who eventually discovered her whereabouts, she kept the conversations brief and evasive. It was on a regular autumn Tuesday, 8 months after his arrival in Cedar Grove, that Theodore Jenkins entered Sullivan Market for the first time. Tall, with tousled brown hair, thick-framed glasses, and a smile that seemed to light up the room, he approached the counter where Jenna was. "Good morning. Could you tell me where I can find coffee? I'm new in town and desperately need caffeine to face 30 teenagers today." He smiled, adjusting the stack of books he was carrying. "Aisle 3, middle shelf," Jenna replied, returning a polite but distant smile. Thank you. You might have saved some teenage lives today. A teacher without coffee is a threat to society, he joked before heading to the indicated aisle. From that day on, Theodore, or Theo as he preferred to be called, became a regular customer. Always after classes, he would stop by to buy something, sometimes basic necessities, other times just a chocolate or a magazine. He always had a joke or good-humoured comment, regardless of how his day had been. "Can I invite you for coffee one of these days?" he asked after nearly a month of daily visits. "I promise I won't talk about how my students think Shakespeare is totally outdated, like, you know." Jenna felt the familiar protective wall rise up. "I appreciate the invitation, but I'm not interested in going out with anyone at the moment." "No worries," Theo replied without hesitation, his smile unchanged. "The offer still stands if you change your mind. In the meantime, I'll keep coming here daily for the excellent customer service." In the following weeks, Theo continued to show up, always kind, always respectful. He never mentioned the invitation again, but his constant presence began to become an expected part of Jenna's day. One afternoon during a particularly strong storm, Jenna was closing the market when she saw Theo standing outside, drenched, without an umbrella. "My car decided today was a good day to die," he explained when she opened the door. "I'm waiting for the tow truck, but it seems it's going to take a while." "Come in before you catch pneumonia," Jenna offered, surprising herself. While they waited, they talked. For the first time, Jenna learned more about him. He was a literature teacher at the local high school, had recently moved after accepting the position, loved old movies, and had a ridiculous collection of colourful socks. "Each pair tells a story," he explained, showing the socks of the day, printed with little dinosaurs. "Today it's about extinction. We're studying dystopias with the third-year students." Jenna laughed genuinely, something she hadn't done in a long time. When the tow truck finally arrived, she found herself feeling a hint of disappointment. "How about that coffee on Saturday?" she heard herself ask before she could hold back. Theo's smile lit up his rain-soaked face. "I thought you'd never ask." One coffee turned into two, then a dinner, then a walk through the city park. With Theo, Jenna discovered the pleasure of simple conversations, spontaneous laughter, and the beauty of moments shared without pretense or ulterior motives. "Why are you so closed off sometimes?" he asked one night as they walked under the city square lights. Jenna hesitated, but something in the way Theo looked at her, with genuine interest without judgment, made her open up. She told him about her ex-fiancé, Alex, about the betrayal, about her escape. She was surprised at how liberating it was to finally share that story. "Well, I can definitely say that the guy was a complete idiot," declared Theo when she finished, "but I'm kind of grateful to him now." "Grateful? Why?" "Because if you had married him, you wouldn't be here with me now, wearing those ridiculous socks I gave you." He pointed to the socks printed with little unicorns that she was wearing. Jenna laughed, feeling a warmth in her chest that she thought she would never experience again. "You are impossible, Theodore Jenkins." "It's part of my charm," he retorted with an exaggerated wink. In the following months, their relationship naturally blossomed. Theo never pressured her, respected her moments of insecurity and withdrawal, but was always there when she opened up again. Gradually, the walls Jenna had built began to crumble. A year after the day they met, At an impromptu picnic on the small hill overlooking the city, Theo proposed to her. Not with an expensive ring or grand gestures, but with sincere words and a simple ring that, as he explained, belonged to his grandmother. She always said that I should only give it to someone who makes my heart smile. And you do, Jenna, every day. The wedding took place the following spring at the small chapel of Cedar Grove. Very different from the lavish spectacle that had been planned 2 years earlier, it was intimate and personal. Jenna wore a simple dress, wildflowers in her hair, and the most genuine smile she had ever displayed. The few guests were mainly friends she had made in the town, Mr. Sullivan and his wife, some of Theo's colleagues, neighbours. To her surprise, her mother attended alone, visibly moved to see her daughter so evidently happy. During the reception, while they danced under the lights hanging in the backyard of the house they had bought together, modest but cosy, Theo whispered in her ear, "Did you know you're the best thing that's ever happened to me?" Jenna rested her head on his shoulder, feeling a peace she had never experienced before. "I love you, Theodore Jenkins." "And I love you, Jenna Jenkins, yesterday, today, tomorrow." It was a sunny summer day, 3 years after that cancelled wedding, when Jenna attended a literature conference in a nearby city where Theo was going to present a paper on contemporary poetry. In the hotel lobby where the event was taking place, she froze upon seeing a familiar face, Alex Reynolds, seemingly more aged than his years suggested, talking with other participants. Before she could decide to move away, he saw her, and his face paled. He approached hesitantly, as if unsure of his reception. "Jenna, is it really you? You look different." She did not respond immediately, assessing the man in front of her. Where she once saw perfection, she now noticed the fatigue in his eyes, the stress lines around his mouth, the less confident posture. "What are you doing here?" she finally asked, surprisingly calm. "I am representing my company. We are sponsors." He paused, looking at her intently. "I looked for you, you know. After you disappeared, your parents told me nothing." There was nothing to say. "Jenna, He hesitated, running his hand through his hair, now streaked with premature grey. "I made the biggest mistake of my life that day. I was arrogant, cruel. I lost the only person who really mattered because of pride and greed." She observed the genuine anguish in his eyes and felt nothing. Neither anger, nor hurt, nor that searing pain she once thought would never go away. "You know, Alex," she said softly, "I should thank you." "Thank me?" He seemed confused. "If you hadn't been so honest that day, I would never have found the courage to step out of the bubble I was living in. I would never have discovered who I really am, what I am capable of." Before he could respond, Theo approached, wrapping his arm around her waist. "Love, I found that book we were looking for." Noticing Alex, he extended his hand. "Hi, I'm Theodore Jenkins, Jenna's husband." Alex shook the offered hand automatically, looking dazed. He looked at the couple in front of him, the way they naturally leaned towards each other, the sparkle in Jenna's eyes when she looked at her husband, the simple yet meaningful ring on her finger. "I need to go," he murmured, stepping back. "It was good to see you, Jenna. Really good." As he walked away, Jenna felt Theo's hand lightly squeeze hers. "Was everything all right?" She smiled, a full and sincere smile. "Everything was perfect. I just closed a chapter that had been finished a long time ago." Looking at the man beside her, her partner, her best friend, her true love, Jenna felt a wave of gratitude for the journey that had brought her here. The pains, the discoveries, the small and great daily achievements. "Shall we?" Theo asked, offering his arm. "Let's go," she replied, giving one last look at Alex, who watched from afar with a lost expression. Our story is just beginning. If you enjoyed the story, please leave a comment with a rating from 1 to 5 to show how much you liked it. Also, watch the video that is now appearing on your screen. See you soon.